It's time to ring that bell and take it home as Jimmy J calls it outside of the ring. Welcome to Take It Home TV.
SummerSlam 2019 in the books, and we have a new Universal Champion. We're going to break down that match card a little bit later on. Sasha Banks, the boss, is back and better than ever. We're going to talk about her return on Monday Night Raw. We have a complete recap not only of SummerSlam, but the week in pro wrestling with a special in-studio guest, my man, Mr. Jaybreez. He's going to be here with us live. Mr. Darius Carter, the BCW World Champion, he's going to be on the line with us talking about his upcoming title defense in the indie scene and a little segment I call Into the Indies later on today's episode of Take It Home TV, where we ring that bell and wrap up each and every week in the world of pro wrestling. And by now, if you don't know who this ruggedly handsome individual is with his melodious tones piping through your speakerphone, I am your host, the host that delivers the most, or that covers the most now, Jimmy J. And now that I got myself over, we could talk pro wrestling. It's been a week. It's been a great week in pro wrestling. First and foremost, I'm back in business, baby. It's not only podcast. By popular demand, I'm back on your TV screens as the vlogcast, or whatever you want to call it, on the YouTube channel, Take It Home TV. So weekly, you are going to be seeing and hearing this guy right here on the channel. Once a week, Take It Home TV coming back. Multiple different segments in the show. We're going to start it off momentarily with the wrestling roundup, the big news going on in the week of wrestling. Then we're going to get into the SummerSlam recap today. We got promo school with my alter ego, Jimmy Diners, and then into the indies to finish off the segments and close the show. So a huge show lined up for everybody today. But, you know, right now, I guess the big news is SummerSlam, really. And I don't want to cover too much on that because I will be talking with Breeze shortly on that. So, other than SummerSlam, it's Sasha Banks. Sasha Banks made her return on Monday Night Raw last night. Much anticipated. NATALYA comes out. She's emotional, talking about her father that just passed away, Jim the Anvil, 1 year ago to date. Sasha comes out, looks like she's going to lend her a hug, or give her a hug, or she turns around, asks for the mic, and wham, Colcox! NATALYA goes down. She's beating the hell out of Natty. And then out comes Becky Lynch, and it gets real. It gets so real that even outside the ring, when there goes Sasha, slapping her right in the face, talking trash to Becky, you seen Becky got agitated on that, started really throwing hands and kicking her on the floor. Still trying to sell, but also you seen the animosity between two of them. So I got to see this right now. I mean, this is something that is probably going to be the most heated rivalry that we're going to see on WWE programming right now because it's real. It's organic. And we're going to see the best out of Sasha and the best out of Becky Lynch. And I can't wait. I want to see the boss back on top as the world champion, a women's champion. Hopefully, we can get a unification of some sorts, okay? Now that Sasha's back, you know, she's been, quote-unquote, complaining that she's supposed to be, you know, on the top of the game, and she's supposed to be the champ, and, you know, people are looking at her in a negative light. So it was a great thing that the WWE brought Sasha Banks back as a heel. Because you know what? If she came back as a babyface, to be quite honest with you, I don't think it would have been taken in well by the fans because of the majority, from what I see out here, of the fans, at least over half of them, think that Sasha Banks deserves a box of Kleenex and is whining and bitching too much. Well, Banks is back, and I want to see where they're going with this one. You know, Monday Night Raw last night, great segments. It was great to see Steve Austin on the show promoting straight up Steve Austin, which took place after Monday Night Raw, and I watched the show, and I thought it's one hell of a damn show. Just Steve shooting his shit with his guests, doing different things, it looks like. I mean, he had a tank on the show, crushing cars, shooting a minigun. I mean, listen, Steve just having a great time and enjoying his retirement. But again, it's always good to see Stone Cold on WWE programming and pretty much on the TV screen in general. Putting over Rollins for that. Rollins and AJ main event, it was okay. Not what I expected, but you know what? This is two individuals who I see that, WWE needs to just continue to push this feud right here between Rollins and AJ, because they are the two best athletes, in my opinion, right now, probably in the world. I mean, again, I'm probably going to get criticism for that, but at least in the WWE, there's no arguments there. They are the two best overall athletes in the promotion today. 24/7 title, I mean, it's taking on a life of its own. R-Truth, he seems to be ran in the match during the tag team match with the Revival and the Lucha House Party, and there was a whole mix-up going on over there, and it turns out that the Revival end up winning the first ever co-champs of the 24/7 title, but ultimately it was R-Truth that got the title, and then in the backstage, Elias cracking a guitar over the back of R-Truth, winning that title, the 24/7 championship, Elias. And I was like, wait a minute, Elias is actually still a part of WWE? Where has the guy been? Where? Finally on programming. But overall, man, Raw, and they've been starting to pick things up now. Raw has been picking it up right here, and I'm enjoying what the WWE is delivering week in now and week out. Tonight's SmackDown, as I record this, so I can't give you the SmackDown review, but as you see this, SmackDown would have already gone down. It's Thursday when I plan on dropping this Take It Home TV episode, so you guys and girls already know what's happening. This weekend coming up, not a lot going on in the wrestling realm of things, or the mainstream for that matter, but this week, the day I drop this, Outlaw Pro Wrestling is going on. We're going to talk about the indie scene later on in the show when I get to that section, into the indies. But right now, you know what? Without further ado, there's going to be a lot of talking going on right here for SummerSlam. In the recap, let's bring out my man, Jaybreez. All right, bell ringers, the SummerSlam recap is underway right now. And to my left over here, and maybe you're right when you're looking at this, he needs no introduction. This guy, Jaybreez, Jaybreez. Breeze, how the hell are you, man?
I'm doing great, man. I'm glad to be here. Appreciate you. Appreciate the listeners and the fans.
Dude, you just sitting there looking very intimidating with your arms folded like you about to beat up somebody that's holding, well, nobody's holding the camera, but about to beat somebody up.
Yeah, it's just a little chilly. I thought it was going to be summertime today, and it feels like spring or fall.
Well, in this environment in my house right here, feels like Antarctica, because I got to have the AC bumping, otherwise I can't function. But we're going to keep the ball moving here. SummerSlam, I thought overall this SummerSlam was kind of like mediocre to me. It didn't have a lot that stood out, but it also wasn't complete trash. It had its high moments here and there, but overall, I mean, if you look at the card on paper, I don't know, man. What did you think? Because I looked at it and the same thing. I thought it was nothing spectacular.
Well, in the words of my beautiful wife, it was very dry. It was dry. I don't know if it was the fans, like you said, on paper, it looked good. The matches, you think it was going to come out good, but I don't know. Like, of course, we know the fans make the show as well, and the fans just didn't seem into it. Some of the matches just seemed quiet. Corey Graves, excuse me, did his best to hype everything up, but even he was becoming annoying because he was speaking so much because there was no crowd, no crowd participation. I don't know what's going on, man. Let's get into it, though.
Yeah, man, because they were up in Toronto. Maybe it's just the Canadian fans because it wasn't a hockey match. I don't know. It was just, come on, Canadian. Where are you? We're the Bret Hart fans. Where are you? Where's Owen? Come on, damn it. Let's go. You were silent. Jesus Christ, man.
They didn't even cheer Trish Stratus that much when she came out.
I'll tell you the truth.
Until she did this. They were like, yay, Trish. But before that, it was just like, oh, Trish. I don't know what's going on.
Let me tell you something. Even when I seen Trish, I said, oh, Trish. Nothing spectacular in that match, but we'll talk about that later on. Trish Stratus is not like one of my favorites, and she didn't get a loud pop with me or whatever like that. The crowd was, again, everybody was on their phones, I noticed too, or just recording or taking videos or whatnot, and that's something, I guess, because of our generation nowadays that takes away from that pop when the guys and girls come out to the ring. But again, that's my opinion. But yeah, let's get into it right now. That opened up, and we're not talking pre-show here. We're going to talk about main card, with Becky Lynch going against Natalya. Natalya also a home favorite from Canada. And I thought the match was okay, man. Again, nothing stood out to me. There was a nice like superplex off the top rope. That's all that I remember from that match, other than how it ended with Becky Lynch getting her and to disarm her, making Natalya tap out in the middle of the ring. But I think personally, man, Becky, Natalya's a great athlete, but Becky's like overrated. I don't know. What do you think?
I don't know if Becky's overrated, but I do agree. I do agree that Natalya should have won. I feel like Natalya doesn't get her just due. Like, she's a general in the back. She's a general in the ring. She's a general when it comes to flat-out wrestling. And it just seems like she doesn't get opportunities. Or if she gets an opportunity, they put her in there because they know she's physically strong. And then they put her against someone else who's being looked at as strong, like Becky Lynch. And then, like, she doesn't win. And it just sucks. It's like, come on now. What happened to we're going to give the people what they want?
Well, I don't know if the people want Natalya, but I'll tell you, you do have a point there. I mean, Natalya is a veteran, if you look at it from the women's division nowadays. And, I don't know, man. I just think that she should have won this match. And I called it. I did the preview to the SummerSlam weekend with this other gentleman, Mr. Adam Rotella. Shout out to Adam, Kayfabe TV, Kayfabe Tees. Get a T-shirt. The guy's just a phenomenal individual. But, he said he was going with Becky in this match. I said, you know what? We're in Toronto. We're in Canada. Why not go with Natalya? Let Natalya win. Let Becky and Seth, both of them, don't have their championships anymore. But I knew it, and I called this. I said, you know what? If Becky wins, Seth is going to win because they're going to have their belts. They're going to get their belts back. And that's exactly what happened. We'll talk about that main event later on. But again, opening match, nothing spectacular. And obviously I've been using that word all day so far, spectacular. But it's lacking. The show was lacking. It was a little lackluster for me. The next match, though, which was expected, was a very short match. It was Goldberg and Dolph Ziggler. And this was, you know what, and I said it too, Goldberg was thrown into this mix because it was a whole fiasco with, it was supposed to be Ziggler and Miz. And then you think, because Michaels in the ring, the Raw right before SummerSlam, oh, wait a minute, he could be facing Shawn Michaels again. Michaels says it wasn't him. Then he looks, and who was it? Goldberg. Or as I said, go home. Go home. Nobody wanted to see Goldberg. McMahon brought Goldberg back just to have him redeem himself. That's what I thought. Or and to spice up the card. Throw a little sazon into the card. That wasn't sazon, it's a fortune cookie. But but just to add a little spice and make everything so nice on the card. But it didn't. It didn't do nothing for me. It did zero for me. I don't know what it did for you. I mean, are you a Goldberg fan?
I was a Goldberg fan when I was a kid because he was looked at as like this big monster who was unbeatable when he was like 1,000-0 in WCW. But why did this match happen? Like, come on, man. This is
zero clue.
This is why people complain. And I'm not a hater. I love WWE. I think Vince is a genius. I think he's still a genius.
I agree.
But why did this match happen? Like, The Miz versus Dolph Ziggler would have been dope because they're both great performers. Miz is great on the mic. Shawn Michaels versus Dolph Ziggler would have been great, especially since Shawn Michaels called him like a bootleg Shawn Michaels, pretty much. I'm paraphrasing. Like, that would have been good. Like, the modern era Shawn Michaels versus the real Shawn Michaels.
That would have been nice.
And then all of a sudden it's just like, this guy comes out and it's like, well, this is the match. And it's like, why? I don't understand. It just didn't make any sense to me whatsoever. It's like, I never understand that. It's like sometimes the storylines are like so predictable, right? And you're like, oh, I knew this was going to happen. Then you think like, ooh, I hope this happens. It looks like it's going in this direction. And then it goes in a completely different direction. You're like, what? Like, what was the purpose of this? It doesn't make any sense. What do you think?
Oh, I think this seems to be, and for those of you asking why they passing around a microphone, well, listen, we need some funds over here. So if you want to support the brand, you can go to patreon.com/TakeItHomeTV. $1 is the minimum. And listen, if you can't afford $1, then I don't know what the hell you're doing for a living. But if you love the channel that much, and I'm not begging anybody, you can support the brand. Maybe we can get 2 mics next time eventually, right? Somewhere along the line. We're building. We're building people. But anyway, back onto the card here. This is what happens. This is the lack of continuity with WWE. But I also think this was mainly just to draw more eyes to the SummerSlam card and to have Goldberg redeem himself from that horrendous match against The Undertaker in Saudi Arabia where he was concussed about 3 minutes in, and it was just very sloppy at that match. But this is what happened. Goldberg, total annihilation of Dolph Ziggler. Ziggler hits him with 2 super kicks in the beginning, back-to-back. Not even a 2 count, 1 count. Goldberg gets up, spears the hell out of him. I thought it was just an evisceration was about to happen. Like, Ziggler's intestines was about to be all over the mat, but nevertheless, after that, hits him with the jackhammer, wins, goes down the aisle. Ziggler's over there, babbling still in the ring. Goldberg comes back, attacks him again. He leaves. Ziggler does the same shit. He comes back and once again annihilates Ziggler. But that was the match. In a nutshell, was Goldberg dominating, making him look good. I mean,
it was stupid. You know, I'm sorry, but the more you talk about it, it's stupid. Stupid. As Randy Orton was saying, stupid. Why? Like, why? Why are you going to put this guy in a match with Dolph Ziggler and have him dominate Dolph Ziggler? No storyline, no, like, it's this literally makes no sense. It's pissing me off right now, actually.
Yeah, I can tell you.
Like, it's ridiculous. Like, why are you going to put this guy in a match? I don't want to be redundant, but you're going to put this guy in a match. You're going to have him dominate the match. You don't even make the match interesting. And then you don't build a storyline out of it either. So, like, basically, that tells me that the match shouldn't have to happen at all.
Yeah, honestly, again, it shouldn't have happened. But again, they wanted to add some other match in there, and they wanted to make it. They wanted to make the card a little spiced up over there with Goldberg's name on it. That's it.
So there's more superstars
I don't know.
that could have been fighting.
McIntyre wasn't on the card. I didn't see McIntyre or Strowman on the card. But then again, I wasn't disappointed about that. I mean, I don't think you need to use certain guys every single show. Honestly, Roman wasn't there, thank God. But I think Daniel Bryan should have been somewhere on that card.
I agree. I think that they could have went in so many different directions. I mean, we're not a $1 billion corporation, so who are we to say? We're just a couple of analysts who love wrestling. But at the same time, could have went without that match. I'm sure people agree. If you do agree, first like and subscribe to the channel and put a comment down below. Let us know.
I appreciate the plug, Breeze. Well, the next match on the card, I don't know if you want to go with it right now. It was we have AJ and Ricochet. Well, before that, did you see the announcement for the Clash of the Champions? September 15th, they had an announcement, Clash of the Champions. I'm excited about that. Every title going to be defended September 15th.
That's exciting.
Yeah, man. So I'm happy about that. And we're going to talk also about, at the end of this, the announcement that happened on Raw for another return. But we'll talk about that after the show. But AJ and Ricochet. Now, before I break down my thoughts on this, I want to hear yours.
That's what I got to say. It's like their 5th time fighting. Like, come on, man. It's like Rey Mysterio fighting that Spanish guy. You know, like they fought like 8 times. How many times Ricochet? Andrade. It's like Andrade fighting Rey Mysterio like for the 7th time. How many times are Ricochet and AJ Styles gonna fight just because they're a good fit? Like, come on. That's what I'm saying. Like, do something different. Like, come on, man. He already beat you for the title, so then you're going to face him for the title. Like, what?
But wait a minute. I thought it was a damn good match.
It was a good match, but I saw it before. Yeah, I saw it like 4 times already. Like, you know, Ricochet is nothing against him. He's a great performer. AJ Styles is an amazing performer as well. But damn, like you're going to keep performing the same show like over and over? It's the same match.
Yeah, it's the same act. I mean,
same match. It would have been cool if they threw like someone in there to make it a 3-way match. What do you think?
But then who would they have put in that match to make it a 3-way match? I mean, think about it. I mean, you got the OC on the outside, and it wouldn't have made sense if you had 3 individuals in the match. But definitely it would have been more exciting, I think.
What about if they put Mustafa in there?
Ali?
Yeah.
Ali would have been a nice fit. It would have been a lot of flips, a lot of acrobatic maneuvers done. But Ali would have been nice in that match. That's a good one.
Now, don't get me wrong, people. I'm not saying that they suck. I'm just saying that they could have put a little something different into the match. If you have AJ Styles and Ricochet fighting for what I believe, all jokes aside, I think it's like the third time. The third time they're fighting within the last 2 months.
Yeah.
It's like, okay, give someone else an opportunity to fight for this title. Mustafa Ali is a great person that could have been in there, you know, and I think it would have been better. Those are my thoughts.
Hey, listen, you're entitled to your opinion. I enjoyed the match. I thought Ricochet, man, there was one maneuver where he jumped off of Gallows and Anderson on the outside and delivered Hurricane Rana to AJ Styles on the outside. And what I really liked about AJ was that heel AJ, that sadistic AJ Styles picking apart a body part, going after that leg of Ricochet. And I thought that was very, honestly, he utilized the heel, AJ did, and himself very well by taking apart piece by piece Ricochet. And coming out on top thanks to the OC, though. But nevertheless, it was a great match. I enjoyed it. And then right after that match, there's a little segment going on in the backstage. I don't know if you've seen it.
I saw it.
The Street Profits and the Nature Boy.
That's what Nature Boy was doing. I really like the Street Profits.
Oh, man.
They remind me a little bit of the New Day, except with a little more
swag. It's like
a little more gangster. A little more gangster, you know what I mean? And they're funny. And it was like when he saw the Nature Boy, he dropped his cup and like some of it actually splashed on what's his name. I thought that was hilarious, by the way. And then the Nature Boy came out and I was kind of concerned because he was wooing like he was about to fall out.
Man, you gotta have a stroke on camera.
Yeah.
God forbid.
I didn't want to say, but yeah. You know, like he looked like he was struggling to woo little bit.
He said, and I quote, he said, "I'm having a hard time keeping these alligators down." Woo! And he was going bananas.
Yeah.
Over there, man. I mean, he was.
But I thought I saw a blood vessel pop in his eye when he did the last woo.
I think one just popped in mine.
So I was real nervous, but that was an ill segment. That segment was hot. I cannot wait to see them like on a WWE show on the main roster wrestle. Guys, y'all tell us what y'all think about the Street Profits.
Yeah, I want to know, and I'm a little concerned though about the main roster because everybody that comes up to the main roster gets just buried, but. Maybe not now because they are moving in that different direction. But I enjoyed that segment right before the next match, which I'm disappointed in the match in general. I was just like, whatever. To me, it was Bayley and Ember Moon. I didn't like the match. I didn't like the outcome. There's no more to say about it, honestly. I mean, it was nothing spectacular once again in this match. What'd you think? I want your opinions on this one before I state mine.
I think Ember Moon, although you did just state your opinion, I believe Ember Moon was spectacular. I love Ember Moon. Like, I'm a huge fan. I even went out of my way to follow her on Instagram. I'm definitely a gram fan of Ember Moon. And I don't know, she just like that whole Dungeons and Dragons thing gimmick that she has. It's attractive to me. You know, it really makes me, like, invest in her character. And so I thought, like, she would have won because it seems like Bayley is losing a little momentum as far as the fans are concerned.
Did she ever have momentum? Did she ever? On the main roster, did she ever have momentum?
I think she got a push when...
Zero. I don't even need a mic. They can hear me on this shit. Zero.
So you don't think she got a little push when she was with Bayley and they won the tag team championships?
First of all, I got no comment on the women's tag team titles. I got no comment on that at all because they were practically fucking extinct for months, for weeks, and then all of a sudden they pop up again. Wait a minute, the women do exist. The titles do exist. We have other champions, and then there's Bayley. We're just going to throw the belt on her because you know why? We want Sasha to come back, and we want to show her that we're giving her friend Bayley, the title. So maybe she'll have an incentive now to come back, which we'll talk about her return also, like I did already. But we'll mention it again with you here, okay, about that. But anyway, Bayley, what happened? It's like you're fucking phenomenal in NXT, and now you come to the main roster like half of the other people, and you just get buried. But they didn't only bury her. Like, it was in the fact that she buried herself as well. I don't know what happened to her, man. She just, I don't know. I'm not a Bayley fan right now, okay? I want an Ember to win this match. She's more athletic, number one, okay? And I think when you compare Ember to anybody else on the roster at this very moment, the top three, 100%. It's her, Sasha, and Charlotte. Hands down. That's my opinion.
Ember Moon, Sasha Banks, and Charlotte?
Top three women on the entire roster.
Who's number one? Who's number two? Who's number three?
Damn, I gotta tell you, man, that's a tough, probably the toughest question aside from what am I making for dinner. But if I had to go with it right now, I gotta go with the Queen, man. I gotta go with Charlotte. It's the genetics. She can do anything. She has that feel also to her. Like, other than her in-ring work, it's that big fight feel you feel when Charlotte enters the arena. So I think overall it would be Charlotte in second place. Damn, I don't know, man. Bayley. I mean, not for Bayley. What the hell am I saying Bayley for? Sasha or Ember.
You got Bayley on the brain?
I got... I don't want to say anything else what I got on the brain with Bayley, but no. And listen, I'm not a huge Bayley fan. We were talking about the match, that's why her freaking name popped up. But Ember Moon and Sasha, if I had to pick one, honestly, I love Sasha, but I got Ember Moon, man, is just athletic, man. She's more athletic than Sasha. So I got to go with Ember, number two.
I'm going to have to agree with you on that. Charlotte Flair being 7'8". And she is...
She reminds me of a friend we all know, Catherine. I mean, she's like hitting her head on the telephone lines. And
shout out to Catherine, actually.
I don't even know she's watching.
And, yeah, like Charlotte's like 7'8", and she's like really, really fit. And like, yeah, her in-ring work, I like her in-ring work. I think she's good on the mic. I think she's good when it comes to storylines as well, which keeps her super relevant. Ember Moon number two, I agree. Yeah. Ember Moon is an amazing performer in the ring. And I think Sasha Banks third. I think Sasha Banks...
She get the attitude down.
She definitely has an attitude down. She definitely stepped her in-ring work up when she became popular on the main roster. Yeah. But I still think Ember Moon's better. So anyway, back to the topic at hand. So you don't think Bayley had a little push when she was on the main roster? When everybody would be like, Bayley, will you marry me? Or I want to marry you, Bayley?
They're looking at Bayley from a physical standpoint. Okay. When you look at Bayley as a female athlete, she needs a push off of a fucking cliff. Okay? Because honestly, yeah, that's my opinion. You can shake your head. Excuse me. We have to beep it out. I got censorships over here. I got kids watching the show probably. I don't know. Doesn't matter. I'm getting excited and worked up about this because you know why? It made zero sense to have Bayley. Okay, you don't have to. I'm sorry, you have to hold the mic. Again, we have one mic. It made zero sense that Bayley retained this belt. Zero. She should. And Sasha Banks, we know, just came out on Raw the next night. Came out on Raw. Okay, made a return, which I thought was perfect. Okay, the way they did that and the way they orchestrated that, but. Why not have, maybe it would have been better for her to come out, you know, Ember Moon would have won the belt because Sasha came out and interfered, costing Bayley the match. Her own friend beating the living hell out of Bayley. Or maybe we've seen that too many times. I don't know. But I just think that Bayley should have never came out of this match as champion. That's my final thoughts on this match. You have anything else to say about this?
Nope.
Thank you, because I think we just spent about 10 minutes and me myself ranting about this damn match.
Shane McMahon, you sit here and call yourself the best in the world, the best in the world. Let me tell you something. I grew up watching wrestling, and there was a certain punk from Chicago who people thought was a chick magnet. That's who was the best in the world. That's who I took my wrestling skills from. So come this Sunday at SummerSlam, you're going to wish you were the best in the world when the referee is counting 1, 2, 3.
For those of you that know me, congratulations. For those of you that know me, and well, unfortunately, you're no longer with us. my condolences. But for those of you that don't know me, I'm the only guy you need to know. Jimmy Dinas. And you know, just been thinking about it. Just dawned on me right now. The world champion, Kofi Kingston, jumping around the ring over there with Randy Orton. Still holding that belt around his waist. What world champion? Think about world heavyweight, right? Kofi, a heavyweight champion. The guy is 120 pounds soaking wet. Wearing a belt that says world champ around his waist. Now, I don't know what organization allows their champion to be 120 pounds and considered the heavyweight champion, but it is what it is. This is what we're working with here, people, WWE. But last time I checked, Kofi Kingston was doing some sort of skit with the New Day where he takes these breakfast foods and pancakes, tossing them around like flying saucers. Hey, power, positivity, here we go. The only thing positive is that Kofi Kingston wasn't in the title division for a very long time. And now I'm starting to see a lot of negative, unfortunately, still holding that belt around his waist. Randy Orton, this is what I tell you. I paid a guy good money. I gave him a call. I said, Orton, do me a favor. Just take him out. Take this mook out, this sissy Mary over here with these pancakes and fruity booty-os going on over here. Take him out. I don't want to see him. I'm tired of him. Doesn't do the job. Out of nowhere, Orton doesn't do nothing. Okay, so now I got to do it myself. I got something in the works. I want clean at your ears. Listen up, Kofi, okay? You, little E over there, and Xavier, Mr. Up, he doesn't know what fucking direction he's going, and up, down, right, left, doesn't matter. He's not going to know what hit him. That's what's going to happen, because I made a couple phone calls, and you guys, you're on the list. Just know, and it's not a Jericho list. Oh, no. This is a list where you're going to have neck cramps. You know why? Because you're going to be looking over your shoulder, over this way. You're going to look like a bobblehead doll when I'm done with you guys, okay? And I might even just knock some damn sense of you or knock your head off your shoulders. But keep a lookout because Jimmy Dinas has you on the list. And if anybody out there, if you have a problem with this, you know where to find me. Meet me at the diner. Moving along here, another match on the card, which was okay. I liked this match. I enjoyed it. Was Kevin Owens and Shane McMahon. And I didn't think that I was going to enjoy it as much as I did. But it was what I said it needed to be. It was Kevin Owens mauling Shane McMahon. And what do you think about this match?
I think that was the plan. I think, it was a classic build. And I think everyone was happy to see Shane McMahon get beat up. I know I was. I was like, yeah! Hurt him! But then I was like, Shane, don't get hurt, you're old. You're old. So I felt schizophrenic for a second. But anywho, so, I think it was a great match. It was cool to see Shane McMahon egg Kevin Owens on to hit him with a chair. Yeah, I thought that was hilarious. I think Shane actually is just a pro at just this whole thing. He knew how to build the match. He built the match up so great. He had everyone invested into wanting to see him lose.
He's a great heel.
He's an amazing heel. I think he's a better heel than he is a face. Yeah. I think everyone actually is a better heel than they are a face, honestly. Yep.
That's true. That's everyone. A good statement. Yeah, you're right about
everyone.
That. Yeah, I can agree.
But Shane McMahon is just on another level because he keeps you in suspense because he doesn't really get beat up as much. Yeah. So you're like, I just wish he would get his. Yeah, you know what I mean? You want to see him. That's a making of a great heel. I agree. So I think that was a good match. No complaints at all. That's it.
I gotta tell you right now, man. Just for the hell of it, right now, I'm gonna try this Shane McMahon like Greg Hamilton did. The worst in the world, Shane McMahon. I think I fucking nailed it, man. I think all the neighbors heard that as well. I mean, everybody just came out and broke some glass in my windows. Don't worry, Home Depot's not closed by. But Shane McMahon obviously getting his ass handed to him by Kevin Owens. I do like the fact that Kevin does use the stunner, but I don't like that he uses it as a finisher, man. I just think he should be original. I said this before. He should use the pump-up powerbomb because that personifies, that is Kevin Owens. Make himself unique. Add the stunner in here and there to the repertoire and just, occasionally hit him with a stunner. It shows a little attitude. But what do you think about that? You think, he should use it as a finish or not?
No, I think Stone Cold is so iconic that move should be retired. Just like in basketball, when they retire someone's number because they were so iconic, right? No pun intended to the Iconics. I love the Iconics, by the way. Like, they were so iconic that they retire their number. I think that although, there's so many different moves in wrestling now, you could have retired the stunner. Come on, man. Like, no one else should ever use a stunner ever again. Or the rock bottom. Those two things, or the pedigree, certain things should just be the tombstone. Those 4 moves right there should be retired, with those specific wrestlers who made it as popular as they did. Because now it's kind of it feels awkward. It's like when he uses it, I'm like, ugh, it's like, oh, this is a Stone Cold move. This is weird to me. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
He did use the pop-up powerbomb in the match, but Shane McMahon kicked out. So clearly they've moved it out of it being his finisher altogether.
And I don't like that at all.
I agree. I think they should bring that back. There's no reason why. Nah, they retire that move, man. Stone Cold, how many people had Stone Cold stunned in his time to make that move so iconic? And now Kevin Owens is using it on the same person that Stone Cold used to stun.
But this is what they're
it's
trying to
so
do.
Awkward. Nah, it's awkward. I don't like it. I don't like it.
I know.
Cut it out.
Cut it out. Cut it out. That's it. No, but I think I agree with it because of the fact that, it's reminiscent of Austin and McMahon. Yeah, Vince McMahon. Austin used to always hit Vince. He even hit Shane with the stunner numerous times.
And Stephanie.
And the whole family got it. Linda McMahon got it. Donald Trump got it. I mean, shit. It's true, man. Yeah, Austin needs to go to the White House now and give him a stunner, but that's besides the point. I think that they need to. I agree with you on that. They need to just retire certain maneuvers. But, with that being said, moving along on the card, Trish and Charlotte. Trish and Charlotte. Yeah, that's exactly our thoughts. 0. Okay, I have nothing more to say. He shake his head. And I agree with you. Charlotte really held this. She was the glue of this match right here. Trish obviously been out of action for a long time. She got a family life going on. This was like her retirement match. This was her send-off. She wanted to do it the right way. And it was. Charlotte went over, which was great. But I think that the placement of this match on the card was good because of the fact that after that match with Shane, it brought you down. And then we went right back up with Kofi and Orton. But just seeing this match, it was hard to watch. I don't know what you think.
As one of my heroes, Stephen A. Smith, would say, the monstrosity that is Trish Stratus. What was that? She was sloppy. She was slow. Charlotte Flair was. It seemed like she was carrying her through the match. It was disgusting. I hated it. It was the worst damn thing I ever seen. I've never seen a more terrible wrestling match than that. And then people had the nerve to say, you still got it. You still got it. She ain't got nothing. She has babies. Let that woman retire. It was no reason she should have been in the ring. Then at the end, thank you, Trish. Thank you, Trish. Thank you for what?
For a bad match.
It was terrible. It was the worst thing that I've ever seen in my life. And I've seen some doozies. And that was the worst match ever. Trish Stratus, please don't ever do that again. Ever. Ever. Matter of fact, while we're on the subject of Trish, I'm just gonna let it out. I'm just gonna let it out. Let the hate out of my heart, brother. I'm just gonna let it out.
That's it.
Trish Stratus to me was never a pioneer. I said it. She was never a pioneer. I knew her from Albert and Test. What happened after that? After that, Trish Stratus was seen with Vince McMahon making out with her. Then Vince McMahon had her barking like a dog, stripping in the middle of the ring, and then all of a sudden she became champion. She didn't become champion because she was so great. She became champion because Lita was so great. Let's not forget, Lita was doing moonsaults off of the top rope. She was wearing low-rider jeans with thongs, which made men in particular, attracted to her. And then because of the heat that they had, it made Trish popular. I never felt like Trish was like the person, the pioneer person. Never, ever, ever, never. Lita was better than her. If it would have been Charlotte versus Lita, I would have been excited. But Trish Stratus, come on now. Come on now. Your claim to fame, buddy, don't do it for me. It don't do it for me. People gonna be pissed off. Oh, well, I'm glad. It don't do it for me. Trish Stratus, you were never that one for me. Ever, ever, ever. You were a good manager. You were good in the roles you played. I hate what Vince McMahon made you do, actually. But I feel like that was... I feel like there was an exchange. Like, if you do these things, then he will make you great. And that's what I feel like what happened. I don't feel like she was great. Yeah. I feel like doing all of those things, degrading things, put her in a position to succeed.
Well, yeah, and that's what she was being...
I did.
You said, Breeze had enough. That's it. But I'll tell you right now, I agree with you, man, because thinking about it, like, women... they've come a long way, and if you look at it from that aspect, that's what it is. It kind of reminds you, like, when we seen Charlotte and Trish in the ring, you seen the old generation of what women were supposed to be like, okay, and with the sex appeal only, compared to Charlotte Flair, the female athlete, and this whole evolution of females and the revolution that took place last year, and this is what it is. This is like a passing of the torch. But I agree, it should have not been Trish. I mean, obviously, Lita probably couldn't get back in the ring. She had multiple neck surgeries. But, it should have been like Lita. I mean, hell, even I think Mickie James was even a better athlete than Trish. I mean, there was so many other women that you could have had in this match. But I understand. Maybe Trish is the most fit athlete from that time period that you wanted to have her there. We were in Toronto. It was hometown. You wanted to get that good, authentic send-off. And I'm just glad she is sent on her way. This is the last time we see Trish in this capacity. If we do see her as like a special guest commentator for something, or on the Legends panel on the pre-show, I don't mind. But I don't want to see her in the ring. You agree?
Not only do I agree, I'm sorry, I got more to get out. Not only do I agree, but the worst thing, and actually my wife pointed it out, my beautiful wife pointed it out. She said, she got tracks in her head, right? And it wasn't even blended in with the rest of her hair. Like, come on, dude, what are you on national television? Nah, man,
she kind of looks weird, doesn't she, with her face? Her face looks weird.
I don't think she looks weird. I think her tracks look weird because they weren't blended in. Like, it literally looked like the teeth of the combs was just sitting on top of her head so that she could have highlights. It was ridiculous. Ridiculous. That's it. Let's move on. I can't talk about this no more. I'm getting upset. I'm getting worked up. Can't talk about this no more. We don't want Bridge getting worked up. We're going to move along, but I got to just also add to that statement about the tracks on her hair that she looked like she had 22 facelifts. But anyway, moving along here, we go on, and Orton and Kofi, man, this was a match I was looking forward to because this was a rivalry that has history. This is something that dates back years ago. This is something that, in the promo that we seen prior to this with Kofi and Orton in the ring, and even you agreed with me on this, Orton really cut an outstanding promo. He killed Kofi in that promo. But Kofi, in this match, showed you why he is worthy enough. He is the real champion. He defeated Randy Orton. I thought it was a phenomenal match. Probably one of the matches that stole the show over here. What did you think of this one? Well, sorry to correct you, but he didn't defeat him. It was a count-out, double count-out. I thought it was a great match. I was really looking forward. I remember I was like, baby, this is the match I was looking forward to.
I gotta cut you off. Technically, because it was a double count out, that Kofi retain the title.
Oh, come on.
It was technicalities, but he's still retained.
All right.
Okay, all right. Well, here.
It was retained. It was retained by Kofi. He said he beat Randy Orton. I don't think that's technically beating Randy Orton, but whatever. But I think that was a good match. That was a match I was looking forward to. They did not disappoint. When Randy Orton hit him with that RKO at the top, I thought it was over. You know, if you remember from me being on this show last time, I said how I cried when Kofi won. However, if there's anyone I wouldn't mind Kofi losing to, is Randy Orton. Randy Orton himself has not been champion in a minute, and I think he's overdue to be champion, and he's a legend, and he's deserving. He's great. Like you said, he spanked Kofi on the mic. Kofi just kind of laughed it off, and, you know, and didn't really do much, and it just showed, you know, who took to promo school.
Well, yeah, promo school.
So, you know, yeah, I'm happy it resulted in a double count out because we get to get more of this, which I'm excited about. Because it's just like, who's gonna win? Like, is this gonna end the story? You know, is it gonna be like 2009 repeat? Is Kofi, you know, after this, if Randy Orton wins, is it gonna go back to like another, like, this is the last thing for Kofi Kingston? All of these things go on in your mind when you think about this story. I think it's like one of the greatest storylines that they have going in the show right now.
And I couldn't agree with you more on this one right now. And, you know, you look at it right here. This is not over yet. Kofi has to prove 100% that he's going to pin Orton or make him tap. Mm-hmm. It's going to happen. Now, who knows what's going to happen before we get to that point? Randy Orton could beat him, win the title, and they can continue this rivalry. And I think it's something they should do because this is continuity. This is what we want to see. We want to see storylines. They kept switching storylines every other week, every week on Raw and SmackDown. We didn't know which way to go. But now we're starting to see consistency, continuity, storylines being built. I want to see Kofi and Orton continue this rivalry. I love it. Kofi, you see that assault with that kendo stick? I love it.
I did see that.
It was brutal, man. And I need to see that. Listen, I need to see that side of Kofi, though. I need to see that Kofi, like, fed up. It's all well and good when he's happy and he's all power positivity. But when it comes to the World Championship, you need to have a serious side to you. Kofi needs to get a little more serious, and I love what he did with that kendo stick. He needs to continue that. Show that streak. Show that vicious streak, Kofi. I'm telling you, I love it. And, I mean, that's all I got to really say about the match. It was a great match overall in the night. But moving along to another another great match. The Fiend.
Oh, man.
The Fiend. You see? I know you're getting where I just said it. That fucking, you know when the lights go out and you hear that fucking bird sound? Aka! Aka! Fucking all over the place. Reminds me of the pigeons when I used to live in Brooklyn. They used to come into my house because there was holes in the roof. That's a whole other story. But yeah. The Fiend, Bray Wyatt, and then Finn Balor. I got to tell you, man. I love what they're doing with Bray Wyatt. I love it. And you've seen in the match, for the first time, the Fiend in the match. Bray Wyatt was so dominant in that match. Scared the shit out of the Finn in the ring. Probably scared the shit out of a lot of people in the crowd. Little kids and whatnot. Dominant in that match. What do you think of this one?
Man, I was scared. When he came out with the lantern of the face of himself as Bray, I was like, what the? I was literally like leaning over in my seat watching, like, I cannot, but like, it was amazing. It was amazing. I don't necessarily agree with the message per se, but that was amazing. Matter of fact, after the match, everyone was chanting, "That was awesome. That was awesome.
That was awesome.
That was awesome." Right? And I was just thinking, like, that was awesome. It was literally like, dare I say, watching The Undertaker come in the ring for the first time. It was that chilling. It was that convincing. And it was that attention grabbing that it was just like it was amazing. I was telling my partner here, I was like, you know, maybe off air, I was telling him off air that it would be cool if him and the Demon King Finn Balor would team up And then the Undertaker come back, you know, more like a man in a manager role. Managerial is the literal word, role. And they like form like the Brood 2.0
or like the Ministry,
or the Ministry 2.0. Man, that would be dope.
Dude, that would be awesome. And I think we're going that direction with Finn, because Finn didn't win, obviously. Bray Wyatt got the win. And you brought out a good point. You know, his entrance. The last time we felt that chill was with the Undertaker. Yeah. And this is like the next Undertaker, so to speak, but not the Undertaker, you know, with Bray Wyatt, with the whole gimmick. It's very, I don't know where he gets inspired to do a lot of this stuff. I know he's a huge horror fan.
The devil.
Yeah, maybe. The devil. I'm telling you, that fiend is for the devil, Bobby. Foosball's for the devil. Not wrestling. Not wrestling's for the devil. I'm telling you, Bray Wyatt, though, with this whole gimmick, with this whole monster, this fiend, and just the two sides of Bray. One side is like he's struggling within good and evil. There's a fight within himself. What is he? Is he a good guy? Is he a bad guy? Hi, guys. Firefly Funhouse. Like Pee Wee Herman. And the next side is like, let me in. Because the guy's eyes, when he stares into that camera, man, is just, and I said it's so cold. Merciless. But anyway, Bray Wyatt, you know, gets the win, and I think we're going to see the Demon. I think ultimately that's going to be the build to this. I think we're going to see the Demon going against Bray Wyatt, the Fiend, but I don't know what the outcome is going to be. I hope it's what you said, man. I hope they join forces and just take over the roster. And with the Undertaker at the head of it, like the Ministry all over again. Imagine that. Whatever the hell the Undertaker says, speaking in tongues.
I don't know.
Fucking turn the heads. And then imagine the whole roster. And then there it is. And we have somebody that turned against the WWE. Like, I know I'm going all on a tangent right now. But imagine McMahon finally does it again. And there's like internal turmoil within the organization. And then he reveals he's the mastermind behind it. It was me, Austin. It was me all along. I know I went over there. It was me, Bray.
Yeah. I think that
oh man.
Yeah, you made a good point.
Yeah, I know I went off.
Whatever happened to factions? Like that's why I was glad AJ Styles won. That's why I'm glad the OC are tag team champions. I see they doing it with Kofi and Big E. And New Day. Yeah. Like I think they should bring back factions. Factions is what made WWE what it was. Like when they had a lot of factions back in the day.
And you're right. And
Nation of Domination, the Brood, Ministry,
DX.
the Corporation, DX. Like they
Disciples of Apocalypse. I remember those. Like even the smaller factions, like DOA they had, and it was just so many different.
NWO.
NWO took over the whole roster at one point.
Right, like it was just so many different factions. Man, they need to bring that back, and that's why I was saying like it would be cool to make them into a faction. That would be great. Bray Wyatt. Like, it just shows how smart he is. Because, you know, I was on shop.wwe.com today, actually. Yeah. And this guy, like, you know, doing the Fiend gimmick, there's not really much merchandise you can sell. Probably the mask for Halloween. Yeah. But being that he does the fun house, they literally have Yowie Wowie shirts for $28.
No way.
I'm dead serious.
Yowie Wowie. That shirts.
for $28 on shop.wwe.com.
I gotta get me one.
And I was just thinking, like, how smart is that? Like, it's like he's able to appeal to children and adults, which is what I've been saying. Like, anyone who can appeal to children and adults at the same time is gonna be good no matter what, because like they fulfill every requirement. They won't be boring. They won't get booed for selling out arenas because the children want to see them, and they'll be over with all the fans.
Yeah, you know? I agree. I'm sorry. I'm looking up the shirt right now. You said it. Yowie Wowie. Oh, man, it is there.
As he looks up the shirt.
Wow, look at this. I'm going to zoom in right here. Bang! Yowie Wowie. Anyway, continue your point there. I'm going
to... yeah, that was pretty much it. Like, he can get over with the kids, and he can get over with adults. by doing both things. Very genius. I think Bray Wyatt's a genius. You know, I saw an interview with him before when someone was asking him the same question, like, where does he get it from? And he was like, it's just me, man. Like, this is just me. Like, he did that Bray Wyatt laugh. And, he's a legend. He's going to be he's a legend in the making.
He's definitely.
Guaranteed.
He's on his way there. He's on his way there. And I think, you know, I want to see, and not that I think, I just hope that they do what we just said there, man. I hope we have that ministry or something, Brood 2.0, whatever you want to call it. It's awesome because it's characters, man. We don't have a lot of gimmicks like that. We don't have a lot of characters anymore, and that's what we're missing too because nobody has that originality factor. Very few people, and Bray is one of them. And Finn is one of them with the Demon too. Mm-hmm. That's originality, man. Mm-hmm. I mean, you look at it. You look at Roman Reigns. What is he? You know, this is me. I'm going to talk Roman because I don't like Roman. I don't. I'm sorry. Okay, the guy has
close to finishing.
3 moves. 3 moves. Come on, put a little relish on your hot dog. Okay, come on. Just live a little bit. Add a couple moves to the arsenal. Jesus Christ. Fuck, man.
You a hater.
What are we going to do here?
You a hater.
No, man.
I'm calling it. You a hater.
No, I'm not a hater, man.
You a hater.
Just Jesus Christ, put a little hot fudge on your sundae. And live a little bit. Live a little bit, damn it. This is crazy, man. Fucking 4 moves now. Oh, wow. Oh, shit. So, hopefully, somebody does take him out, damn it. They should have hit him with the car. Anyway, move along here.
How many moves does Randy Orton have?
Randy Orton, listen, I'll tell you, at least he surprises us out of nowhere. Okay?
How many moves does John Cena have?
John Cena has at least a little bit more, maybe about 6. Okay.
How many moves did Stone Cold?
I don't sit here and keep count of moves, okay?
Saying.
But if you ask me, Stone Cold,
Roman Reigns, they all have the 5 moves to do.
No. Every time, and I gotta hear Cole's stupid voice every time. I have dreams about Michael Cole. Unfortunately, Superman punch. I'm tired of hearing Cole's. And here comes the big dog. You're a poodle. You're a poodle in the pack. You're not a big dog.
You're a hater.
I don't care. Call me a hater all you want. Hater. He calling me a hater. I don't like Roman. You're not. You're a chihuahua. Fucking Taco Bell dog. Anyway, I'm not. It doesn't matter. It doesn't. You can say I'm a hater. Roman, I'm done.
How do we even get here?
I don't know how we got to Roman Reigns, but let's go. Let's go on the other Shield member that was in the main event here. The former Shield member, Seth fucking Rollins, because that's what he proved. He wasn't freaking. I'm sorry, I'm cursing a lot for you. I'm sorry. This man does not curse. He's a great individual, unlike myself. The bottom line is, Seth fucking Rollins showed up. It wasn't Seth in Rollins. It wasn't Seth freaking Rollins. The censor shit went off in this one. Him and Lesnar. And man, this match was probably the match of the night right here. And it was the main event, and rightfully so. Big spot with that 5-star frog splash off the top through the table to Lesnar. I mean, I want your thoughts on this. I loved it. I loved it, and I love how it went down. I love the fact that Seth won. I was, again, I didn't know which way it was going to go. I said it depended on Becky. Becky won. I knew Seth was going to win. What'd you think?
This was the only match that I remember move by move. Like, that's how you know it was a good match. So, like, when Brock Lesnar went for that suplex and he backflipped and super kicked him, then he did it again and super kicked him, then he curb stomped him, then he went for the cover, he got out, then he went to super kick him again, then Brock Lesnar picked him up and gave him an F5. Like, literally almost every single move by move I remember, because it was that exciting. And that was the first time that I saw Brock Lesnar do something exciting, and I was thinking in my head, like, man, I hope they don't, like, try to make Brock Lesnar look like a regular guy who can just get beat at any time. You know what I mean? Because, like, his gimmick, which is not really a gimmick, is that he's the best fighter on the roster, the strongest fighter on the roster. Yeah. You know, and I was like, man, I just hope that they don't, like, start making him lose and lose and lose and take that factor away from him. However, I think what they did last night was gold. Like, they did not do it that way. He showed his strength when he picked picked up Seth Rollins by his bandages and swung him around, which I was just like, man, if I ever wanted to be a wrestler, I don't anymore. Because Seth Rollins is 218 pounds, and this dude picked him up with one hand and swung him like he was like a baby.
Featherweight, yeah.
It was crazy. And I was just saying here like, man, that's crazy. But the match itself was amazing. Yeah, when he hit that 5-star frog splash off the top rope onto the announce table, that was crazy. When he won, I was shocked. I was so excited. Like, yo, I couldn't believe it. You know, because Brock Lesnar always retains. And it's just exciting because even now it's like, well, what's next for Brock Lesnar? Because if you notice, anytime Brock Lesnar loses, he comes right back on Raw. And then he comes and does something crazy. And then he gets his title back. And I was just thinking, like, man, what's going to happen next? Like it really had me invested. Now, again, I know I said that SummerSlam was pretty dry. But there were some matches that were just amazing. I think, like, lack of fan participation made it dry. I just wanted to clear that up. Yeah, but that last match with Brock Lesnar and Seth Rollins, gold. It was gold. And you know what I thought about? I thought about the interview with Dean Ambrose when he said he started pitching things to Brock Lesnar about how to do that match. And he was like, he just went in there and gave me like 15 suplexes and that was it. And I started thinking like, maybe Brock Lesnar actually listened to someone. You know, maybe Paul Heyman put a bug in his ear. Like, you can't just go out here every few months and suplex people and then win. Like, what kind of match is that?
City, bitch. That's all he had going with Suplex City. I know. Yeah. I know what you're saying.
So, you know, I think it was an amazing match. Brock Lesnar's a great performer, actually, I believe. He brings, like, reality to wrestling because when he hits you or when he gets hit, it doesn't look as fake as people make it seem as it is. I think that was the match of the night. It stole the show, hands down.
Couldn't agree with you more on that one. It was the match of the night and the main event. And you know what I noticed a lot lately? That the main events are actually main event caliber finally, once again. So I'm happy about that. I'm happy that the WWE, you know, is starting to take everybody's advice in a way. Like, the fans have been disappointed with the product and they've been starting to deliver more. I also think that has something really to do with Paul Heyman and Eric Bischoff, you know, having some say in what goes on and the storylines and whatnot like that. Eric Bischoff's in charge of SmackDown now.
Really?
Dude, he's the head of SmackDown right now. Well, obviously, you know, everything still gets funneled through Vince, but Eric Bischoff is in charge of SmackDown and Paul Heyman's in charge of Raw now. And this has been going on they announced it maybe about a month ago, but I think they really took office now as of SummerSlam moving forward. I seen even last night on Raw as we record, this is Tuesday, you can tell the direction they're moving in is different. You know, the way they're doing things, it's definitely way more entertaining than a month ago or a couple months ago. And we're going back, man. I feel like we're going back in a way to that Attitude Era style on Monday nights and Tuesday nights, or soon to be Friday nights on Fox. And I'm liking that because they know they have to do something. There's so much competition out here, and the fans are drifting towards this AEW product that's coming October 2nd. So Vince knows. And I think Vince is a little nervous. And I'm not saying nervous like he's scared of it, you know, like, but I think that because he sees the numbers don't lie. He's nervous in the way that, you know what, I have to do something. When you press Vince, you know, it turns into a diamond. It's not coal. Vince, when the pressure's on, he makes fucking diamonds, okay? And he's going to do that. And you got to give it to him. You got to give Vince credit a little bit. As much of an insane old bastard as he is with 4 hours of sleep still, the guy, look at him. Just look at his physique. The guy's 70-something years old, maintaining himself. Yeah, you see it, damn it? That's what I do right here. I go to the gym and pump iron 4 a.m. That's it. The guy's nuts.
Hey, man, he's a genetic jackhammer.
He is the genetic jackhammer. But anyway, hopefully we can continue to see. I'm interested to see what happens, like you said, with Lesnar from this point on. We see that Seth and AJ Styles might now have a feud. AJ's the U.S. champ. I don't know. I like the factions getting thrown in the mix. I'm finally excited about certain things that happen that are happening. Sasha Banks makes her return on Monday Night Raw. Did you see that? with Sasha or no?
I did not see it yet. I gotta go.
Dude, you have to see it. She comes back. Natty's in the ring. I just said this earlier, and she was crying a little bit, Natalya, about her father just passing away. It looks like Sasha is gonna like console her. She turns around, like asks for a mic, and then bang, right, turns around, levels Natalya, beats her down. Becky comes out. Sasha fucks her up with a chair. It gets insane in the ring. Sasha sporting the new blue hair that she got going on, makes her return as a heel, and I'm happy about that.
You mentioned something. I don't really like that. Why do they have to get so personal with it? I think there's other ways to get someone over. I saw them do that with Charlotte and her brother, and I remember she was like legit crying, and I was just like, this is kind of low, bro. Like,
they want that real emotion.
Yeah, but come on, man. You don't have to go that far. Like, you're going to talk about someone's dead family member. They agreed, but come on now. Like, there's other ways to get there. You could have mentioned, even if you just mentioned someone's family member once, it's like they, like, continue to dig,
Vince McMahon.
and make it worse. There's other things to write. Come on. If you're a good writer, if you're a good writer, you can write something else.
Look, okay. And I agree with you for a point, but listen, it makes it does make really good TV. And think about this now. Look at Matt Hardy and Edge, the real life storyline they had with Lita, and then Vince boarded the TV. I agree. And it was real heat, man. There was a lot going on with that. And then Vince is so sick that he actually wanted to have a storyline of incest with Shane and Stephanie McMahon.
I heard about that.
The guy is insane. So that I crossed the line with. I mean, I can understand that. I mean, Mae Young giving birth to a hand. I mean, come on. Mark Henry over there cheering her on. I mean, yeah, there were things that were questionable, man, that Vince should have never done. He crossed the line a lot of times. But if you look at it now, you laugh. And it makes for good TV. And I think WWE is moving in a positive direction. There are things they still need to work on, okay, but they are moving in that positive direction. And speaking of nostalgia, the last thing I want to talk about, SummerSlam overall, I thought, again, it was kind of dry, but there were phenomenal matches, like you said, on the card. If I had it rated from 1 to 10, 10 being just off the charts, I'd give it a 7. What do you give it?
Same, 7.
Yeah, 7. I would give it about a 7. And another pay-per-view they're bringing back, they announced on Raw, King of the Ring, starting next week on Monday night, the tournament begins. I am amped up about that because that will make somebody in one night, I think. What do you think of that?
Who should host it?
Who should host the King of the Ring?
Yeah.
See, it's a tough one. You know, there's a lot of people busy out there, but there's one guy, for some reason, I don't know why, but there's one guy alive right now that when you hear King, you think of. It should be Jerry Lawler, but then there's one other guy. It should be 2 guys, I think. It should be Jerry Lawler.
I bet I know what he's going to say.
King Booker!
King Booker!
Booker, yeah, because like...
King Booker! He smells the air.
King Booker!
Who's the second guy you were going to say?
I think it's Jerry Lawler and King Booker.
Really?
What do you think?
About, King Booker and, what's this guy's name? He's behind the scenes right now.
Who?
Steven Regal.
Oh, Steven Regal. Lord, remember Lord? Yeah.
Yes.
Steven Regal. No, but you know what? It's funny because Jerry Lawler, William Regal, yeah, he was NXT in that train. But I think that, Jerry Lawler was never legitimately won the King of the Ring tournament, but he's known as the King. So I can see that, and I think King Booker, because of the gimmick, is so hilarious, and he really owned that shit, honestly. So
everything.
Yeah, Booker T did. Yeah, Booker T is one of the greatest, honestly, man. I mean, shit, I enjoyed him in Harlem Heat. I can see that we could have a whole episode on Booker T right now.
Absolutely.
And Hulk Hogan, he's still coming for you, nigga. But anyway, yeah, but that's it. King of the Ring coming back. I am looking forward to this right here. I want to see a new King. I want to see them own that damn gimmick. And I want to see I hope they have a pay-per-view. It's not just on like Mondays and Tuesday nights, getting the inauguration, whoever wins. I hope there's an actual pay-per-view for this. Any last thoughts, Breeze?
Nah, man, I think we covered it all.
Covered it all. Thank you so much, Jaybreez, for joining me on the recap over here, Taking Home TV. I know we went a little too far, maybe a little something, but I don't care. It's my channel. Whether you like it or not, you can comment below. Let me know what you think. We're going to hit the studio back in a minute, and we're going to be talking about the Indies. So let's take a look right now what's going on into the Indies. All right, bell ringers, welcome to Into the Indies. It's a special segment on Take It Home TV where we run down any independent wrestling news going on and the events that are happening this week. Now, tonight, if you're watching this on Thursday, is Outlaw Pro Wrestling over in Williamsburg, Brooklyn, New York. Our Lady of Mount Carmel. The shows are always fun, always very interactive for the fans. Huge card. Melina is going to be in attendance. It should be a great night. I plan on having the recap episode of what happened and all the festivities at Outlaw coming up very, very soon after that event. But tomorrow, if you're watching this on Thursday, Friday, August 16th, BRAY Combination Wrestling, BCW in the Bronx, the 25th show. It's going down, and I got a special guest on the line right now. We're going to take into that conversation. The world champion, the BCW world champion, Mr. Darius Carter. All right, Jimmy J here, into the Indies. My first guest, none other than wrestling's richest prize, Mr. Darius Carter. Darius, Mr. Carter, I should call you. How are you today, sir?
I am splendid. Strong introduction. Be careful with that, mister. Make sure that's accentuated when you say my name. It's a respect thing. It's a respect thing. You understand?
Yes, sir. I apologize. Mr. Carter.
I accept it. Go on.
Darius, it's an honor to have you on, especially as my first guest. I ask everybody this. Everybody I speak to in the independent wrestling scene and anybody else I speak to that loves wrestling or involved in some way, shape, or form, what was it that got you involved or into wrestling in the first place?
I used to watch it with my great-grandmother, and I guess that's how it came about, and I always loved it. I used to watch it on Sundays with her. I remember watching Sunday Night Heat.
Oh, Heat.
So, yeah, but it was just just had the energy about it, and it always carried over. It was something. It always just came to me. I never questioned it. I never double guessed it or thought about it. It was just something that I just knew that I loved. And when you find it, you find it. And it never left me. There was never a period when I stopped watching wrestling. I never had a go away period. I never stepped away from it. It's the one constant in my life. As early as I can think.
And was there anybody in particular that you looked up to in the ring?
Oh, it was Ric Flair, the Nature Boy, Ric Flair. Ric Flair was everything. Ric Flair had the looks, he had the charisma, he had the style, he had the women, he had the limousines, he had the helicopters. This man had everything. He had the look when he got in the ring. I mean, he took the rope. I mean, Ric Flair had his own style. The higher waisted trunks, which I owed, a lot of that too. My favorites all had the high waisted. Billy Robinson, William Regal, all high waisted. Nick Bockwinkel, so that's an ode. You know what I mean? And now, of course, there's high waisted all over the place now. Oh, yeah. But I don't know. I'm always ahead of the curve, but I don't get my, but that's fine. That's okay. But I've always been, sharp to the curve. So. But that's what I do. Those are the wrestlers that Ric Flair, I should say, going back to him, was the one that 100% got me in.
The Nature Boy, as did many wrestlers idolized Ric Flair, man. I mean, who wouldn't? Limousines, like you said, bright lights, big city, pretty ladies.
But you know what? It's different. But it's different though, because some people like Ric Flair for different reasons. For me, it was all of Ric Flair. It wasn't just his showmanship. It wasn't just his character per se. It was Rick in the ring. I consider Rick to be the greatest professional wrestler of all time. The man could wrestle anybody, and that's what you should want to be. The man could wrestle Barry Windham, Lex Luger. This guy could go in there with Sting, Ricky the Dragon Steamboat.
Oh yeah,
he could take anybody. Ricky Morton for an hour. That, to me, is the personification of professional wrestling. That's what I would want to be. I want to be in there with anybody, no matter what style, no matter what you are, where you come from, and go in there and put on the art and the magic that Ric Flair did.
It was funny because Ric Flair, and like you said in the ring, man, he can go with anybody. He's an Iron Man. He didn't have to do much. he didn't have to fly around. You know, we see a lot of that nowadays, and everybody has different styles, but there's a lot of these crazy maneuvers. Flair did pretty much the same thing in every match, and you loved it. It didn't matter. It's psychology. Would you agree on that?
That's it. It's all placement. It's all putting the things that you're known for in different places. You don't just do the move when you want to do it. You do it when it's right, and you do it with precision. And that's what Rick did. He had the chop block, and he had, listen, Rick had moves. It wasn't even about that. You know what I mean? He had the butterfly suplex. He had a stalling suplex. He could hold you up as long as he wants. A knee drop, rolling knee drop. Listen, we could go through this, but what the point is as we stated, you didn't have to. It wasn't about doing too much or overexerting yourself, and it wasn't about straining yourself in a particular way. It was about mentally breaking down your opponent. You made professional wrestling looked like a sport when Ric Flair was in the ring. Professional wrestling looked legitimate when Flair was in there. If he chop blocked you, you were going down, and that to me is what I pride myself on. That to me is what is so desperately needed in so many more facets of professional wrestling. There's so much variety now. It's like that almost the foundation has been forgotten. It's been stretched so far away, and that's not that's not for me. And that my whole thing is trying to bring that, to tighten this up, to tighten the game back up. That's what the change that I talk about. I want it to come back, you know, to where not just to where it was, but then be better than where it was, you know.
You know, and listening to what you stated right there, I'm thinking, because you're right, because we can only go so far. We can only evolve, like, literally so much, and, like, you can't top. There's going to come a point where you can't just top something crazy, some of these crazy maneuvers that they're doing in the ring. So you got to go back to the foundation, back to the basics. And it does show in your style. And I see it in the ring. So that's why I got to ask you, you know, who'd you train with?
I trained back in BWO, which was Body Slam Wrestling Organization. Anybody that's wrestled, it's like the thing that I say. Anyone that's wrestled more than 10 years, more than a decade, or anywhere near that period, you wrestled for BWO. You knew what BWO was. It's not around anymore. You know, it's essentially defunct now. But it was, and I was the last World Heavyweight Champion. Actually, it was the first time I ever won it, which was at CZW Dojo Wars. But anyway, against Connor Claxton. But going back, it was BWO, November 2008, and I started training with Richie Rotten, and then Nunzio ended up coming on board around 2010. 2000, yeah. So, and Preacher Phineas James, who came in early 2010. So Preacher came in early, like 2009, 2010, and then he helped do some of that. Magic as well, Jersey All Pro Wrestling Hall of Famer. I love Magic. He's incredible. He helped train me as well. BWO was such a strong school. Back in Hasbrook Heights, you know, it was the foundation, the basics, and the character that was so important. It was, you know, you really took your time. And I came in, you know, of course, wanting to do all this stuff as anybody does.
Oh yeah.
And the slowing down process and the maturation process is like, when I look back to who I was when I started and all the things I wanted to do, and over the years, my own evolution, you know, I smile because I know that I've grown. I know that I've grown because of the foundation I had at my training school. Whether it's around anymore or not, I'll never forget what was learned within those walls. I'll never forget that place. And if you carry that with you, and if you allow that to manifest, which it can in your daily experiences, it sticks with you. It gets better. You become better. And people have said that to me lately, and they said, Darius, every time I see you, you're better and better. And that to me is that's what it's all about. Every match better than your last, you know, or at least you're better than you were, you know. That's what it's about. That's what this game is all about.
It's about growing.
Winning, growing, getting better, and changing. That's the change that we're talking about. That change.
Yeah, and I see it, man. I see it personally. You know, I seen you one time, literally in person, wrestle, but I've seen a multitude of matches that you had all over the internet, and I could tell, man. I mean, you have what they call the it factor, man. And you don't. It's funny because a lot of people, they hype themselves up, and everybody has their gimmicks and do what they got to do, and they proclaim themselves to be certain things. And man, I got to tell you, Mr. Carter, in my opinion, right now, I think you really are wrestling's richest prize right now. Richest prize that hasn't been found yet for the main roster, but they can wait. You got to let, like Ric Flair said, you got to let this one build before you crank it up. And your promo, man. Your promo is what really it captivates people. It captivated me when I was listening to you talk. Were you involved in any theater or acting before wrestling?
Well, and that's actually the first time that I've been asked that question on a podcast. So congratulations, you just made history.
Yes, I'm happy.
You should be. Be proud because it's amazing. That was the first time that's been asked. But the answer is yes. I actually did it in high school. I did it I did it in my junior and senior years. I did a few plays, and that being in the drama club, it was an enjoyable time. It was a time I'll never forget. I haven't spoken to some of them in a while, and others I have, and it's a pocket of your life. It's very interesting. Yes, but I did theater there, and then I started wrestling. 2 months, pardon me, into college. So that was it.
And you've been wrestling. I dug in a little bit, did a little bit of my own due diligence. You debuted April 4th, 2009. 10 years in the business. Toe-to-toe, who was the toughest opponent you had in that ring?
Toughest opponent? Dan Moff comes to mind. Dan Moff is a tough man, and that's great. I respect, that's just his thing. I love getting in there with Dan Moff. You're always a bruising. I had scratch marks, and I had to listen. I had some beautiful therapy. That's the one thing about it. As being as rough as it is, to go through that brutality, that recovery process is nice because then you have to try to treat yourself lavishly, to heal your body. All the things. It feels
good.
It feels good to heal. So in a way, maybe I have some type of perverse pleasure in it, but no. But he definitely is. He's the first guy that comes to mind, so he must be the answer. But there are plenty of people in there that are tough. I give them their credit. Mercedes Martinez is tough. That woman knows how to take a hit, and that woman knows how to reciprocate, and that's just a beautiful thing. She tried to stand her ground.
Wow. That's...
but she's tough. There's a few people, that I feel like over time, like Gangone's a tough guy. Anthony Gangone.
Oh, Anthony Gangone, yeah.
Yeah, and he's been my ally. He's been, in the Crusade for Change, and he's been my enemy at Capital Wrestling. And that man will hit you, and it's great. I mean, listen, these guys want to win. If you are hitting me, that means you want to win. If you're kind of whiffing and throwing these feint attacks and spinning maneuvers, are you trying to beat me or are you trying to show off? Because if you're trying to show off, I'm going to catch you in a mistake and I'm going to ground you, and you're not going to get to flip, and the fans aren't going to get to quote unquote see what they want to see, because what they want to see is not realistic. What they want to see is not effective. So if
you tell them what they want to see.
I tell you what you want to see. You're gonna sit there and you're going to love it, or you're gonna love to hate it. But I am gonna get an emotion out of you, and I'm gonna if I put somebody's head on the ring steps and I lift my foot and I bring it down upon your head, you will react one way or the other. I don't need to do this. I don't need to do this. I'm telling you, catch, dive, flip, jump. It's not for me, and I'm not insulting people that do that because it's a style, and I get it. But there's a way to do that. There's a way to do that style, and there's a way to properly execute these acrobatic maneuvers. And there's a time and a place for these maneuvers to come out. So that's all I'm saying. If I've beaten you up for 15, 20 minutes and you're able to do that to me, then I have not done my job correctly. That's all I can say.
I mean, yeah, and that's another thing too nowadays, man. Selling. I feel like people don't sell. anymore like they're used to or they're supposed to. And, I mean, I think that's another problem too. Everybody's so worried about the high spots.
We could use whatever term we want in terms of being in pain and your reaction to that pain. All I'm saying is, if I am wrestling you for 15 minutes, by that point, by 15 minutes in there with me, you're gonna be tired. I'm wearing you out, and you better hope you're doing the same to me. But I am wearing you out for 15 minutes. I'm not going to let you breathe. I might bow, but that's because I have the chance to. That's because I know that you're writhing in enough pain that you can't capitalize on me because I've done my number on you. I study every opponent before I face them. I know how to get to you. So that to me is what it is what it comes down to, man. It's the simple things, and you can fly. You better know when to pull that stuff out, because if I know that that's your style, I'm expecting you to do it. I'm expecting you to flip. I'm expecting you to do this and that. So if you're going to connect with it, you better catch me in a smart way. You better catch me in a way that's different, because I'm not the same as everybody else. I'm not going to sit outside the ring and wait for you to jump on me and outstretch my arms to catch you. It's not how this works for me.
I've seen it firsthand, Mr. Carter. Like, honestly, man, it's the little things. It's the little things you do that can turn the match right around, a whole 180 completely. And it looks and feels real, and that's because it is. Because, you can't – there's no way around a stiff right shot to the face or a chop right to the chest. I mean, the way that, what you have, your maneuvers, is not scientific, folks. I mean, it's ground and pound, okay? And it's strategic. It's like – I can almost say that as if you're like a cerebral assassin, not to compare you to anybody else out there, but it's what I see, and much respect to that. But was there ever an incident? Because, thinking about your style and how real it is, I mean, was there ever a time where work became a shoot?
There were incidents, and we know one of them at least. Incidents where the physicality extends beyond, and the people can get hurt. It's happened, and that's the nature of the style, I guess, and of the business. And I'm not saying that's particularly okay. That's not what we want. Nobody wants these things to happen. But my thing is, I feel that there are people, and this is where it becomes more political and more behind the scenes, but this is where people will outstretch truths and make things worse than they are to make you look worse than you are. And to me, this business, professional wrestling, is about going in there and getting it. Okay? Professional wrestling is about going in there. There's going to be pains. There's going to be aches. Now, should people be getting injured left and right? Absolutely not. Okay?
Yeah.
But, nobody, and I have never injured someone to the point where they were, by the way, and this doesn't ever get stated, but no, I've never injured anyone to the point where they are out of commission, where they are unable to wrestle for an extended amount of time. Now, there was an incident, where the wrestler was not able to compete for the next event. Okay, and that was an unfortunate thing, and that was something that that you never forget that, and that was unfortunate. But it was, the one time that had ever happened in my career. So that, and then the other time, which was there was a time with Anthony Gangone, but his ankle ended up, that was a complete mishap.
Yeah.
So let's say two, but that time was a missed maneuver. So let's say two in a 10-year career. Okay.
That's pretty damn good.
That's, you know what I mean? And that's given the style that I have. You understand? Where it is a little more physical. But you know what? People have to think. Just like people are getting it, just as I'm giving it to people, I have taken a lot. My body has gone through the ringer, and it doesn't get, I don't go out there and say it. I don't go out there and ask for and weep for people, and I don't ask for any sympathy because I don't want it and I don't need it. But my body has undergone plenty. I've been in cage matches, and you better believe I've been thrown against the cage. So I've been in these types of matches, multi-man matches, and where you're catching multiple people, time after time again. You're taking these unique tag team maneuvers from people. You're taking so many things. You're taking suplexes onto stages, suplexes onto floors. I've taken plenty of these chair shots, kendo sticks. I've been there. So just because I don't go out there and bold it, underline it, and italicize it for your attention doesn't mean that I don't go through it. And I think that gets understated too. So we all go through it in this business. Anybody who's been wrestling has gone through turmoil. So this is what it is. This is whatever your style wants to be. A lot of the problem is people are hurting themselves more now. They're hurting each other. You know, you're missing your own jump, missing your own dive. That's what it is now. That's why the spotlight is on that. You know, because you're the ones hurting yourselves, and you have to take responsibility. You have to look at the people that are taking these flips and these dips and trying these flips that they have not practiced, but they thought of it in their head and they said, well, I know I can do a backflip and I know I can do a front flip, so let's combine them into one. And then what happened? That's what happens. And then
injuries, man.
The people don't know how to catch you, and now look at you. And I'm sitting there in the ring like, well, I'm glad I wasn't over there. This is how I see things. I'm honest. It hurts people's feelings. It makes people feel bad. People cry about it. Well, that's what we need. We need more. The business needs what it needs, and that's all I'm going to say.
Yeah, and I agree with you, man. I mean, listen, if you're going to do something, you know, let's just be very blunt here. If you're going to do something stupid, okay, don't expect a positive result. I mean, it's not rocket science, you know. If you're not a perfectionist at it, if you never tried it before, why are you going to do it and just try to get just a pop real quick, and then you're out of commission for what, a year, maybe two? I mean, it doesn't make any sense to me. It makes zero sense to me as well. And I mean, damn, everything that you've been through physically, man. The next day, how the hell that feel like? I mean,
that's what I mean. And I'm wearing suits every day. I gotta dress up really nice. I'm not sitting here waking up in a tank top or throwing on a McDonald's shirt, or not to insult people from McDonald's, but just the way it is. Take it or leave it. All right. I'm not waking up every day. I don't just get to put on the clothes that are hanging on the edge of my bed and skip the shower and go. I have to every single day. I'm dressed professionally for what I do in business. So no matter what I feel, a limp I may have, or an aching back or anything like that, I've got to be standing upright. I got to keep moving. You know, I'm not just sitting in an office. You know, I'm moving back and forth. So I have to make sure that I'm in a condition to do that. And I have to look a certain way. I can't have my face impounded, this and that. So these are things that, you know, this is a moneymaker, this handsome specimen of a face. So these are things that I have to keep in order, in line. If I don't show up looking right, people are going to be confused. If I didn't show up looking the way I do, I won't show up in slacks and a sweater with a hood over my head. People be like, "What are you? Is that, you know? Come on."
No, so I mean, I'm pretty sure you got your, you know, the suits are pre-ironed. You have a maid. I'm assuming she takes care of the work for you.
I've gotten plenty of people to take care of plenty of things, but no, I live a good life, and I've earned it. I've worked diligently. I've done what I had to do to get to where I am. So I got my education. I applied it. I used leverage. I used force. I used my intellect. I found my way in. I made the right friends. I made good friends. I put myself in the right position. I went through the overseeing of internships and all these things and all this movement to get to where I am. And these are things that I don't just talk about. You know, if you're really doing well, I don't have to shout it to you. You can see it. You can tell.
Success is the best form of revenge, I heard.
Oh, of
for
course.
anything. I mean, it also, you know, you don't have to speak about it, like you just said. Just people see it.
That's it. That's all there is to it. I don't need to tell you a paragraph about it because you already read between the lines. That's what it's all about, and I think that's what gets people to really hate me more. It's like, you know, like you would think me bragging would make them, but it's like, it's just him, you know. And it's like, yeah, I am. And it's like, yeah, it is me. It's not you, you know. And this is something I say all the time. I say, people, you know, everyone wants to be the person in the limousine, but when the limousine's driving by, they throw eggs at it. Now, this is what it's really what it is. You know, everyone wants to be upset at the guy that's riding the limo. The first thing you think, it's the truth. When someone steps out of a limo, your first reaction is to scowl, to be angry, or to be upset, to be disgusted in some type of way. Because it's not you. Yeah, because it's not you. Hello. Yeah. Of course you're upset that it's not you. Of course you're upset.
What are you doing to change it?
Exactly. What are you doing to be like me? What are you? I mean, what are you trying? And you could say it's not me bragging. It's me being me and getting booed and hated because I am me, and the person that I am just so happens to exude success, and I worked for that. I was not handed it. I was not born it. I committed myself to success, whether it was educationally, whether it was mentally, whether it physically, whatever it is. I educated myself to this level. I didn't just get spoon-fed this.
And people have to understand that. They got to give you the credit. I mean, you worked hard. You worked hard, Mr. Carter. And this Friday, you might be working a little more harder, I should say. Eric Jaden, BCW World Championship on the line. Number one contender, Eric Jaden. I believe you and I had spoke about it once before. What's your strategy going into this match?
Eric Jaden is so funny. The thing with Eric, okay, Eric is really a BCW original. He's been there from the beginning, much like me. I mean, I really came in a little bit after, let's say, like in the beginning phase. I wasn't in episode 1 or whatever you want to call it, but I was very close to the beginning. And Eric's been there the entire time, and I've seen Eric go from this silly string spraying sleaze to now this Eric Jaden that is trying to be serious and make himself serious. So he does that by literally imitating the Crusade for Change in the poorest fashion. And I'm not even doing this to make fun of him. I'm being completely honest. It's embarrassing.
Oh, wow.
He you see the masks that he wears?
Yes.
You know, you see the change he's talking about, like it's and the way he's cutting the promo. It's like you're literally blatantly ripping off of the Crusade. And this is after he was a sexy Sega Jin or whatever he calls it. Saiyan, whatever, Sega Jin. I don't know what he's watching. Cartoons. This guy was that. He came out with the scouter on his face. Like, all right, so now you're emulating me, and now look, you have a world championship match because you imitated me. Like, you didn't get it before. None of those gimmicks worked, and now you're imitating Darius Carter, and now you get to actually wrestle Darius Carter in the main event of a show in the Bronx.
So basically, what you're saying is because he is a knockoff, a bootleg version of you, that's the reason he's in the match. Correct.
Or else he would have gotten a world championship match before. Why didn't he get one? Why didn't he get one then? See, I wasn't given one. Because I was being opposed by management. I had this whole issue with Pete Rosado and this guy always too many chefs in the kitchen of BCW, all these people trying to run it at the same token, and Pete Rosado had his favorites and was keeping me from the championship matches. Here's the difference. Month in and month out, I was having the best matches in BCW. All right? I was having them against Mike Orlando, which many consider or tell me was the best match they have seen in the BCW ring was myself.
It was a damn good match.
Thank you. And then that and Mercedes Martinez are the two matches for BCW that I have talked about that people tell me or message me or all this stuff about the most. The match with Mercedes Martinez and the match with Mike Orlando, where I almost ripped his leg off of his body and collected it. So and there's so many other matches with Joe Gacy, with Chris Payne, with Willie Mack and I.
Yeah. That was another good match. Willie Mack.
Thank you. So this is what I'm talking about. Like, I've put my stamp in BCW. Eric Jaden has been around. Like, he's been there. He hasn't been particularly memorable. He's not the guy that you are he's not going to be the guy that you're going to particularly see. Maybe you have fun watching him, but you're not going for him. And that's, again, not no offensive. It's just the way that it is. He and I'm not taking away from his role, because he's a fun guy. That was his thing. And I liked that. I liked that Eric Jaden. That was fun.
Okay.
And he wanted to do that Joey Ryan. That's his style. You want to spray the confetti, and you can still get some funny little moves in there. That's your thing. But for him to then try and say, well, you know what, I want to be a main event player, so I'm going to rip off Darius Carter, and then cut all these promos all on my, blowing up my feed with this nonsense. I can't get away from it. It's like he's only making it worse for himself, because
Think he's looking for your followers too.
He's all over the place. And it's the same. It's usually the same one or two promos, and he's cutting some stuff with it. Now one of his managers he's got all these people in his corner. They're all court jesters. I'm telling you right now, if any of them get anywhere near that ring, it's going to be a problem. It's going to be a problem. And Eric Jaden, he's making this worse for himself, because he keeps talking. And he keeps talking this smack, and he keeps acting like he's a legitimate professional wrestler. He's acting like he could really hang in the ring with me. And it's bothering me, because Jaden should just be where Jaden is. Jaden should be Eric Jaden, and he's not accepting that. And now you want to imitate me. It's one thing if you just worked your way up and became the guy. You started having great matches, strong matches, and you were winning matches, most importantly, and you were becoming a memorable part of the promotion. That would be great. That should have been his path. But instead, he started this change, started talking about change, and recruited a bunch of people to do his. And it's like, now all of a sudden I'm facing you, and now you're, come on.
I can understand, man. It's he took the easy road, many would say.
And now, but that's okay. You want to know why? Because in my championship reign, I beat Azrael twice. I beat him for the championship, and then beat him 2 weeks later at WrestleCade in North Carolina. Okay, he's done. Then I beat Sue Young at BCW's first all-women show, and I was the only man to compete. And I did it in the main event, and I won. Okay, so I defended my championship against a woman. So you can't say I'm sexist or anything like that. Okay?
No, I've seen it. It was another incredible match.
Thank you. And then I had Austin Theory, Evolve champion, now in the WWE. Guess what? I pinned him. I defeated him. It happened. We did that in the main event. And now, Dan Moff, I beat him in what people are calling one of the most brutal matches they've seen in BCW. Just like people and say with my match with Theory, how much they love that match. People, and I'm just talking about in general. What I get, the reception I get on that. And then Dan Moff, who we brutalized each other. Dan Moff, I pinned that man. He put the championship around my waist. He got on the microphone. He talked me up. He talked me up to the heavens and beyond. He then wrapped the BCW World Championship around my waist and extended his hand for a handshake. I denied him because he did not deserve it. He lost. He was taking my moment away from me. He was making it about him, and he couldn't let it go. That is why I left the ring without shaking that man's hand. And now, after facing Dan Moff, I get Eric Jaden. Jaden thinks I'm going to take him lightly. You understand? He thinks I'm going to go in there and slap him around a little bit and turn my back. He thinks I'm going to gallivant and leave all these openings for him. That's what he thinks. He thinks I'm going to just, I'm just going to lose track of myself because I'm so cocky. That's what he thinks. But he doesn't realize that the world championship that I've held is on the line. For 279 days, I've held this championship. Any match where that championship is on the line in particular, you think I'm going to take a risk? You think I'm going to allow myself against anybody? I don't care what it is. It could be a broomstick. I'm not taking anything lightly. He has no idea what he's in for. He's getting a main event match. You get what I'm saying? This isn't a fun and games match. This isn't a hokey match. This is not going to be one of his types of matches. This is going to be a main event Darius Carter match. Classic match. And he's going to have to hang. He's going to have to hang. And I'm telling you, this match is going to expose him. Because if he doesn't hold his end, if he doesn't keep up, I will not end the match. I will not end the match. I won't just pin him. I'm talking. This isn't giving him an opportunity to recover. There's no.
Are we talking embarrassment?
Yes, this man, because he deserves it. It
I
needs
think it's
to
a little
happen.
too much, Mr. Carter. I mean, Dan Ma first, and now Jaden. I mean, we know that you just exemplify champion, but
No,
you think this is a little overboard?
no, it's not overboard. Of course, I exemplify champion. Of course, yes, of course, I exude champion. But Eric Jaden is an error. He overstepped his bounds, and he has to be pushed back over the line. This is order. This is process. Without order, the world the world will burn simultaneously. It will combust without order. This isn't fun and games. Chaos isn't cute. Everyone thinks unruliness is fun. It's not fun when people are breaking into your homes and hurting you and that's all this stuff. No, we need to bring order back, and Eric Jaden needs to be educated, and that's what I'm going to do to him. And once I've seen all the air leave his body, which won't take long, we'll see how much gas he has. Once the air leaves his body, I'm not going to spare him. The referee may call for the match and say the winner by knockout because he can't continue. That's fine with me. But I'm going to beat this man until I deem enough is enough. And that's in my discretion and my discretion alone. I'm going to do it within the rules, do it within the confines of the rules, as our professional does. But I'm going to take this man's soul from him and before your very eyes. And he could bring he's got all these people in his little posse. Doesn't
that concern you, though? I mean,
yeah, but none of them are worth anything. None of them can take a hit. None of them are tough. And now he's not even with. I'm talking about his little manager, Mark Chowan, whatever that is.
Schwan.
The Nyla Kennedy, yeah. Then the Nyla Kennedy. These people are just hangers on. There's nothing they can do to help him, and his squad apparently isn't even with him anymore. So it's like, what are you gonna? And even if they were, they're gonna get you disqualified. How's that? It'd be foolish to bring them out there.
That's
but
true.
We'll see. We'll see what he does.
And it's all going down this Friday. If you haven't got a ticket already, you're going to need to be there at St. Helena's Gym. It's in the Bronx, New York. It's going to be a show. I'm telling you, 25th show for BCW, BRAY combination. Came a long way, and, one could say you, Mr. Carter, has really carried the company on your shoulders. But there's going to come a time where, your time is going to be up in BCW. Where would you go next? I mean, what's the future hold for Mr. Carter? If you had a choice right now, contracts on the table, which organization would you go to?
That's a very easy question to ask, but that's not the question that I'm going to directly answer or particularly answer, because I would like to go where I would fit best. Whether that is one place, whether that's the other place. I want to go where I can have my opportunity to perform and be what I truly am on a grander stage. That is where I want to go. I want to go to the next level. So yeah, eventually my time at BCW will be up, but I would like to that time to be a time when I have either a contract or I have a television deal, something like that. Life goes on. You get better, you grow. Okay. And listen, my plan is to keep the championship until I have to go on. And I will then, if I have to hand it over, I will. If I can retire it, I will. And the promotion can perish. Once I'm done with it, it's not my problem. So we'll see what happens. All I know is I'm not losing this championship to Eric Jaden. So that's one guarantee that I can make. And not only am I not going to lose it, but it will never be in any true jeopardy. And the only thing that will be in jeopardy is the career, the livelihood, and the health of Eric Jaden. Those are the things that are in jeopardy. And for that, I almost pity him. But almost.
Well, Mr. Carter, it's been an honor to have you on, and I'm looking forward. I'm going to have a ringside seat for you and Mr. Jaden. This is a match that, folks, listen, you heard him. You heard the animosity between these two back and forth. If that didn't sell this enough for you, I don't know what will. You need to be there in person Friday. If you're listening to this right now, you probably have a day, or maybe this is Friday. You're listening to it. You have to be there in the Bronx. I don't care where you are in New York City, in or around New York City. Get there, Uber it. Train is right up the Block 6 train near Castle Hill Avenue. You need to make it over there because this is going to be an event. This is going to be a main event of all main events. And thanks to you, largely, Mr. Carter. And I do appreciate you sparing me some time today.
You're welcome. This was something that needed to be said, and this was the right platform to say it. And Friday, as you illustriously proclaimed and stated and defended, this is a show that must be attended. What's going to happen to Eric Jaden is unlike anything you've seen in a while, and it's not about slamming and throwing and putting on a show. It's about an evisceration process and an education that is going to change your thought on so many things. That's what's going to happen to this man, and I can't wait to have my first match. This is going to be my first match as the longest reigning champion, by the way. I beat the record. And by beating Jaden and successfully defending my title for the 5th time, I will be one step closer to then being the one with the most successful defenses. I'm going to make history all over with this championship.
I don't doubt you. And like you said, it's going to be a learning experience for a lot of people in the place, but I think more so for Eric Jaden. It's going to be sort of like baptism under fire, if you will. This match is something special. I got goosebumps just thinking about it right now. I'm telling you, I'm excited, but I'm also nervous, and I hope that they have a full the EMS is on standby, paramedics there, because the animosity that used to have towards each other is unmatched. I haven't seen it before in a very long time. If you compare it to mainstream, I don't even know what to compare it to. Triple H, Cactus Jack, it's bad. It's gonna be rough. So
yeah, well, if it's Triple H, Cactus Jack, you know who I am, and you know who he is, and if that's the case, you know how it ends, and that's where I will. That is the last word I'm going to say.
I guess it might be game over for Jaden, but Mr. Carter, I do appreciate you taking this time, sir. Thank you so much for coming on the show. Any last words you want to tell the bell ringers out here, or if you want to plug anything of yours where they can follow you?
You can find me on Facebook.com, Twitter.com, Instagram.com/Mr. Darius Carter, all the same /Mr. Darius Carter. Instagram is the newest one to me, but the numbers improved. But you can, we can get all followers of the Allfather to the Instagram page, in particular, as well as the Twitter, Facebook page, and then my fan page, which is /Wrestling's Richest Prize. That's a separate account where I'll tend to have more exclusive posts on there as well.
I think Eric Jaden said he made that. He told me Jaden made that.
Jaden made what?
Your fan page?
Jaden did not make my fan page. Who said that?
Oh, I don't know. I'm sorry.
Jaden, no, absolutely. I made the fan. Eric Jaden didn't make anything. Eric Jaden can't make his way out of a paper bag. He can't make himself safe from this situation that he's in. I'm excited. I'm not going to lie to you. I'm excited because this is literally going to be a man who's walking into something. I think Jaden is so delusional he actually doesn't know what's going on. So it's going to be great to look at his face when he's on his back, and it's the look of confusion and pain. It's going to be so amusing to me. Just talking about it, my heart is racing. So this is going to be exemplary. So yeah, follow me, Facebook.com, Twitter.com, Instagram.com /Mr. Darius Carter, Facebook.com /Wrestling's Richest Prize. I'm there. I'm everywhere. The time for change is now.
Darius, thank you so much, sir, for coming on the show.
Thank you for having me.
I'm going to see you Friday.
You will.
Man, what an episode it has been today. Taking Home TV episode number 41. It feels good to be back on video for everybody out there. you try different things. The first year you're in business, you try, you see what sticks. It was good advice I heard from one Green Man from A Shot of Wrestling, so I'll give him a shout out for that. But I really see that I want to be original. I want things on this channel to be different. Everybody out there has a review on Raw. Everybody has a review on SmackDown, NXT. Okay? I'm going to incorporate some of that, some of the recap of the events that happened during the week in pro wrestling, especially once AEW starts. I do want to cover the AEW show, that in particular. But other than that, I think this show should be just a giant melting pot of everything for the week. That was the reason I started Taking Home TV. That was the name itself, Take It Home, where we ring the bell, we wrap up each and every week. So we give you the summary, we break it down in one giant episode. If you don't want to see certain segments, you don't have to. There's timestamps here. You go to whatever you want to hear, and you can see it. Now, as you see today, I had a special in-studio guest. Big shout out to my man Breeze. I appreciate you coming through to do the recap for SummerSlam. And that's something that we are going to be doing on the show. We are going to be on this channel. We're going to be recapping events going on every time the event is over. We're going to be talking about it with different fans, different guests on the show. And as you heard today, Mr. Darius Carter, the BCW World Champion. From time to time, we will be having interviews. So this is a huge show. It was a huge welcome back for yours truly. I want to thank everybody out there. Please subscribe below. You can follow me on IG at Take It Home TV. You can follow me on the Twitter at JHack719. If you want to support the channel, go to patreon.com/TakeItHomeTV. $1. That's it. $1. You can support the channel. Either way, I appreciate everybody who watches this. I intend on doing this for a very long time. Shout out to my whole crew that always comes out to see me every time I'm in the indie shows, whether it's A Shot of Wrestling, my man Swift, Andrew, Manny. I see all you guys out there. I appreciate all the love and support. Guys, we're signing out of here. I'm going to see you tomorrow at BCW 25th anniversary. And tonight, if you're watching this Thursday, I'll be there. Outlaw, baby. We're going to ring that bell and wrap it up each and every week in pro wrestling. Thank you, bell ringers.